Okay, wir brauchen ein Sample, um den Skinprint von dem Sein, von dem Massenmörder, von dem Massendieb zu finden, um seinen Secret Stash, seinen Loot zu finden. Und wir müssen Evidence oder eine Person präsentieren. Nearby street map, pair of teacups. Ich bin mir nicht sicher. Den Schlüssel. Den Schlüssel vielleicht von Olive Green. Den Schlüssel, glaube ich. Vielleicht. We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot. And something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain the possession of the late convict, Sein, to create the indicator solution? Olive Green. Miss Green. Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Alter, der Schlüssel zu allem. That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Sein touched in the room that he used to rent. Let's go! Mr. Shakespeare, as one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hall is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. So, Mr. Shakespeare, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Satan's stolen wealth. In that case, I gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it! It's over, Mr. Shakespeare. No! No! You are out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. Whoa. Oh, shameful spear! Despair! Be thy name! Oh, Lord. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all. So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods. Yet after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Garrodep really has had a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate timing. Then, 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road, when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spends the whole day in there reading books. Oops. Ach ja, stimmt. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. which is why on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. Der tragische Schauspieler. At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. The gas supply and my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's a convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? Oh, but that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas. If only I'd known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left the horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped eastern-looking man with a moustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Group's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. That place is cursed, I tell you. Cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked, no problem there. It's like I'm the problem, that's what they are thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered a rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations. A rumor? Ah, you mean... Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. A black market? I'd never been. It just heard people talk about them. And you really can't buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out, one way or another, was Duncan's death an accident? Or was it murder? And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait. If Mr. Shanfield was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shakespeare, and then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and sell it on Briar Road at 5 PM on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked. And of course, Mr. Shakespeare followed the instructions to the letter. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away, so I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Okay. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just deserts. Ein Step too far, würde ich sagen. Ein Schritt zu weit. "3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward. Yes, my lord. I certainly never imagined the depth of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend. Oh, yes. And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you. Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green." "Yes, my lord? You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shakespeare." "Yes, I know. And you, Mr. Shakespeare, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present." Mr. Naruhodo. "Ah, yes? Yesterday, at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle. I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh, and I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shakespeare didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now, you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green. Sie ist aber, ich muss sagen, ich habe nur begrenzt Mitleid mit ihr, weil sie ist ein Step zu far gegangen. Sie ist einen Schritt zu weit gegangen mit diesem Griff. Dass sie auch gesagt hat, sie hat gehofft, dass er das macht. Das ist zwar nachvollziehbar, weil er ihren Verlobten umgebracht hat, aber trotzdem ein Schritt zu weit. Man sollte Gleiches nie mit Gleichem vergelten. Besonders oder speziell in diesem Fall. Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes, my lord? The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty. We are in full agreement, my lord. In that case, I hereby declare the defendant not guilty. Nice. Nice. Jetzt muss ich aber noch wissen, warum Susato wegen diesem Fall nach Japan zurückgerufen wurde. Was ist an diesem Fall so besonders? Ich meine, war cool, dass wir 2 Opfer hatten, die dann letztendlich zu 2 Tätern geworden sind. Gab's auch noch nicht so, fand ich ein interessantes Konzept. Aber warum musste Susato jetzt wegen diesem Fall nach Japan? Nach Japan, ja. Warum? Court is adjourned. Das ist immer noch die Frage, die ich mir stelle. 23rd February, 3:24 p.m. Zero Bailey defending antechamber. It's a big question für das große Ganze. Oh, yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. Divine justice. My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that moustache. No, this has nothing to do with my moustache. Some say that a luxuriant moustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, once again, you saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help Mr. Natsuma. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature within our grand homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. Im realen Leben als auch in der Ace Attorney Fiktion. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? Ah, but a week ago now. I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did, and I've seen more of life in this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there's nothing special about the true face of the English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We are all just doing our best to live. True. Well said. I've come to feel the same way. I've made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan. War das nicht der Plan von Anfang an? What? Just when we'd become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Hä, war es nicht schon sein Plan im Ende von dem ersten Fall, wo er involviert war? Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh my, so you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful. Oh, well, no, I mean, you wouldn't presume to call it literature. Why not? When that is precisely the definition, Mr. Moustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. Hä, aber im ersten Fall hat er doch auch schon gesagt, er will jetzt aus England raus, weil er den Fluch von dem Reaper fürchtet. Und deswegen ist er doch auch... Das verstehe ich jetzt nicht, warum er jetzt das nochmal sagt. Das war auch von Anfang an klar, oder nicht? I suppose you're right. Yes, it will in a way be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. Ah! That's very true. And there's no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the persecutor. The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes, faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Objection. So, hat jetzt selbst Objection gerufen. And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago. Soseki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit a scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial, on the following day. The day that we uncovered the loot, hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. Als ob, okay? Was ist da passiert? 24th February, 10:30 AM, Mr. Natsuma's room. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. To uncover the secret hiding place in just 1 day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellow, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? Grexy's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Happily, I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's hall. Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Jetzt bin ich gespannt. What is that? It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar. Ein Halsband? Ein sehr blutiges Halsband, okay. A collar. It's huge though. And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed on the inside there? There are some dark stains. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then of course, there's this emblem there. A large letter B and a small crown. What does it signify, do you think? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know? Where could it have been? Haben wir das schon mal gesehen? That's enough of that, I think. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color has drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Ah, yes. Also das B erinnert mich natürlich an Barock, ne? Barock von Siegs. Aber ich hab's noch nie gesehen. Glaube ich zumindest. Get your grubby hands off that, Milord, and hand it over, now! I'd never seen a collar that large before, and all those jewels certainly looked to be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me, at least not once I'd noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains. Could they really have been blood? Man, ja, wie kommt das dahin? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basics of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume. The mystery of the knife and the mist. And the mustached man and the convict's curse, perhaps. I could make it a 2-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word please, Iris. Yes? What is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your 2 titles. The second must never be written. Okay? Wegen dem Halsband jetzt, oder was? Is that clear? Yes. Ich habe
And
viele
so it
Fragen.
was that the second of Soseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Ton, als ob es synchronisiert ist. Nice.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand.
Ich nicht.
I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story.
Ich nicht.
It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen.
Okay.
For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again.
Okay, ich bin gespannt.
With an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Oh, the Great Exhibition. Das wurde schon so häufig angekündigt, die Great Exhibition, die große Ausstellung. Das war so häufig angekündigt. Nice. And. Als ob sie jetzt das kleine Bit vertont haben. The Key of Knowledge awarded. Okay. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Die Events sollen also unfolden bei der Great Exhibition. Okay. Ich bin sehr gespannt. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Of the Great Departed Soul. Wer ist die Great Departed Soul? Er meint doch nicht Kazuma damit. Er meint doch nicht Kazuma damit, oder? Nein. The Great Departed Soul kann nicht Kazuma sein, oder Kazuma ist tot. Kazuma ist tot. Wir haben ihn gesehen, er ist tot, er kann nicht zurückkehren. Es sei natürlich diese Regierungsgeschichten, wo er mit drauf stand, die Disc, wo er mit drauf war, kommt zurück, wo er, Tobias Gregson, wer war noch drauf? John H. Wilson und ein gewisser A. Chin drauf war. Die könnte auch noch zurückkommen. Aber warum musste Susato jetzt nach Hause? Wegen diesem Halsband. Aber was hat dieses Halsband zu bedeuten? Was hat dieses Halsband zu bedeuten? Und warum weiß Sholmes scheinbar davon? Und warum weiß Mikotoba scheinbar davon? Ich habe viele Fragen, die in den nächsten Parts hoffentlich beantwortet werden. Ich habe viele Fragen. Viele Fragen. Holy shit. Ja, gut. Aber das war's dann doch erstmal von dieser Aufnahmesession. War ein interessanter Fall. Ich fand es interessant, wie das Opfer von dem letzten Fall, wo Mr. Natsume mit war, und das Opfer von diesem Fall beide zum Täter geworden sind, beziehungsweise zur Täterin, zu TäterInnen, wie man es auf Neudeutsch sagt. Und ja, war cool. Ich hätte, ja, Tsuzuki Natsume, immer noch ein cooler Charakter. War ein cooler Fall. Hätte jetzt nicht so lange sein müssen, finde ich, aber ich freue mich, dass er so lang war im Endeffekt, weil je mehr Ace Attorney ich aus diesem Spiel rausbekomme, desto besser, weil danach wird es wahrscheinlich wieder erstmal nichts mehr geben und deswegen, ja, nehme ich alles, was ich kriegen kann. Und es war ja auch nicht schlecht, es war ja gutes Writing, es war spannend geschrieben und ja, das wär's dann erstmal soweit von mir. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen, ich bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein und wie immer könnt ihr gerne eure Meinung von dem Case, von dem Fall in die Kommentare schreiben und ich würde sagen, beim nächsten Mal sehen wir uns dann wieder bei The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Auch interessant, bisher war in diesem Spiel nur ein Fall, der hieß The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney am Anfang und diesmal, dieser hieß The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro, also auch nicht The Adventure, und jetzt The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Warte mal ganz kurz, können wir... guck mal, hier. Hier haben wir sogar noch das Bild. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Da haben wir die Great Exhibition, den Crystal Tower, der gebaut wurde, der jetzt scheinbar fertig ist. Und, ja, die Austrian Empire... Europäisch, ja moin, österreichisch. Warte, The United Kingdom, okay. Austrian Empire, Ottoman Turkey, okay, also Türkei. Und The Great Wheel. Irgendwas auf London. Okay, also vielleicht wird er das Riesenrad in London erfunden, obwohl das wäre ein bisschen früh, ne? Zumindest das Riesenrad, was jetzt heutzutage da steht. Egal, ich rede schon wieder viel zu lange. Wie gesagt, ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen, ich bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein und wir sehen uns bei dem nächsten Mal wieder bei The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Bis dann, ciao, ciao und Einspruch.